plenty of
Yeah. I don't know. Like, catch me up to speed a little bit. I do want to get into New Zealand because I feel like there's a lot to unpack there, Pat. Um, how do we go from you getting into skiing to probably crushing a first ever feat, an MBD, and never been done down New Zealand on a glacier with one ski? Not even just one ski, one leg. How is how is power Casa setting this standard for the world here?
Oh, I mean, I reckon if you really want to get to the heart of it, it's being the most fortunate human ever born so far, you know? I mean, yeah, just getting lucky. I'm sure there's been lots of people with lots of opportunities, you see and hear about all these people all the time, but yeah, it's just cool that I didn't get to I became that original dream I had when I was a child. It's like you have that dream about being a dinosaur or a fighter pilot or, like traveling through space. And I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to be an athlete. I wanted to be a professional athlete. I wanted to be this celebrity, this bigger than, life thing. And I wanted to be this thing that was special and this thing that gave back and everybody loved. And, you didn't have to ask the person who they are. You could get it from their surrounding, kind of like, oh yeah, we all know him. He's, this is him, and they kind of know you already, but yeah, so now
Je
it's
suis un cowboy.
yeah, exactly. Precisely, yeah. Yeah, oh man, when I went back to Chile this year, we went over to Tres Puntes, me and Cody, the physio at the time, and the first lifty that was part of El Colorado where our passes didn't work and neither of us had one. And I kind of tricked him into not knowing that until we got there. But this lifty had recognized me from 3 years ago and we were good friends and got us up not only had us cut the whole queue, got us around the scanner as well, not just me but Cody the physio as well. Basically looked like a gorilla, but oh, it was so beautiful, dude. It was just like case in point why you all you have to do is be kind and work hard and you'll become this good person. And then once you're that good person, all your dreams will come. Whatever you want will come to you. You just got to keep being nice and working hard, and hopefully you pick the right struggle and all that. And I mean there's more to this universe, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I
just
mean, I think you make it sound so easy, Pat, because like there are a few people in my life that I've come across that I don't think charisma, magic, being remarkable is descriptive of enough of what you encompass and embody. My mom is really good with connections and meeting people, and if you want to say like getting things like acts of kindness out of, or just like good solid connection that opens doors. She's one I know. You're absolutely one, and like it, you make it sound so easy, but like where does that kind of come from? Is it like growing up you had to just fend for yourself and ask for things, and that just became a way of life which you learned to navigate just social situations? Is it can you boil down to something, or is it just no, it's just part of who you are and it's just so organic? I don't know.
I think it's I mean it's a lot, but yeah, it kind of boils down to like taking those experiences, kind of creating those, right? Like going and asking for that dance or going and doing that dumb thing and failing. Like it's really, you can have this mediocre thing where you follow all the rules and do everything just as you're supposed to, or you can kind of find, the edge of those things. And I've had bad experiences, where I was lucky enough to have them at a young enough age where I could look back and be like, oh, right, I don't want to be that bully or that mean guy. And yeah, I think not having that many resources makes you be accountable quicker, like I'm realizing, oh right, if I want all this cool stuff to happen and be this special person, I can't be mean. I can't like have people not like me and have lose these resources that I need available to me to make Patrick this good person. Like I feel like nobody is kind of selfish in those ways where like you have to become this good person yourself first and then you can lift as you climb. But really, like you gotta get up there. You gotta start doing stuff and be consistent, have that discipline. And so even in social situations, yeah, I'm learning early because if I want to go to the kids' pool or ride the dirt bikes or it's
Mhm.
like you gotta keep these relationships. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, have that accountability when you make, if I get fired from my job that I just got raking leaves, like, and I'm not making money, I won't get the car or get my permit or whatever, it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of, I've always had that accountability. So I've been lucky to have the bad things and the struggle.
Yeah. I mean, what's cool in it too, though, is beyond like the organic and authentic, like how you convey that is like you're so present. Um, like when I bet in this scenario that you just described when you were just in Chile, like right, I wasn't there, but like you probably wanted to go over to that peak, and so when you're talking to these people, it's like something you truly want, or it's like if you approach a girl or you're trying to get into a concert or whatever, whatever it is, you're trying to you leverage this partnership because you want to go heli skiing in New Zealand, which I hope we talk about in a couple of minutes here. But it's like you're so present in that moment, and I see it in your eyes when I'm around you that like it's very clear that like clearly you have an agenda of your own, but it's pure. Like you clearly want this. It's not a hey, I'm trying to get this and then slide in over here or something and do something
Right.
mischievous on the mountain. Like it's just moment by moment, and I think that's really cool to see and be around you. As I just work with you, in our current dynamic, but as I've also seen from afar, that's awesome. I think that's special, and certainly another layer to all of this that sets you aside as a true individual, a unicorn.
Right. I think there is that if you're just genuine and you don't lie and maybe you kind of maybe not tell it how it is, but you kind of just say what needs to be said or what everybody's thinking, if you just kind of like say that, then it's like you're telling the truth. And maybe it's not the best thing to do in that situation, but in the long run, it's going to put you where you need to be. And then you're like, oh my God, this is what I was dreaming a year ago, or, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
Like, but it's like if you're just genuine and you're honest, yeah, it's like that's how those dreams come true, and that's hard to do. That's hard to be consistent and not just tell people what they want to hear and not just fluff everybody's, egos and be like, yep, all right, and put that mask on, It's nice when I get to kind of be myself. And yeah, you're always one of those characters that I know when I see your eyes. I look into your bones, I know I can just be myself, and yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I'm told by and of recent, and it tends to be more women, like whether it's athletes I've worked with. Actually, my supervisor, I am tough to read, and so I generally feel I have a very stable face, maybe stoic. But I'm glad you could read me, Pat. So,
It's in the
but
eyes. It's in the
yeah,
eyes.
um, I would like to, and I want you to unpack this as much as you want, just to give us a general topic around, you have your Sven it shirt on. You've spoken a lot since I've known you about your brother as well as New Zealand and the role that, the Southern Hemisphere and all I stand there, it's got a little bit of a nasal sound, what that has meant to you over your lifespan and how skiing fits in. So if you could like start somewhere and we just kind of unravel this, pull threads wherever you want to go, I think that would be awesome. Yeah, spend it.
Oh my God, how lucky am I? I mean, that is the real opportunity that gave me purpose. It gave me, so much things, but really like isn't that what we're all looking for is purpose? And then you put your time into that purpose and try to become an expert. But yeah, how lucky am I that my identical twin brother, the reason why we were so good, right, was we had each other. We were like two chocolate labs, beautiful ones, that were like you got somebody to play with. So we were just the happiest dogs ever. But yeah, so grew up. He 3 years before I even lost my leg, he dropped out of college and became a ski bum. And he would volunteer at a disabled program, and he would get a free day pass to go with my father, an old ski bum from the '70s, who was in a devastating motorcycle accident. Ever heard of it? and he ended his professional ski racing career, and it was terrible. But he skied on one leg in like 74 or something for like 5 years. So 40 years later, my twin brother drops out of college, gets back into skiing, gets my dad, the old ski bum, back into the beautiful nature ski community of parties and whatever you want, banjos, to this beautiful nature, where it's something really happens to our brain when we're riding that chairlift. We all know it. But yeah, he gets him back into that. And then 3 years later, I lose my leg in a motorcycle accident. So I had the best private instructor you could ever for free. I didn't even have to pay him. He's my dad, and yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'll teach you how to ski on one leg. No, no worries, no worries, mate." And I didn't believe him. He was this old fat guy. I was like, "No way, you can ski on one leg. Like that's no way." I tried it. It was hard. I hated it my first
Yeah.
day. I tried it, and I went out skiing. He was amazing at it. He was, yeah, a big old fat guy who could just crank turns and rip up the mountain, dude. He was so good. It blew my mind. And I grew up skiing a little bit recreationally, but I didn't know he was this good, whatever. I quit skiing when I was like 12, when it became my financial responsibility. So yeah, grew up with all these like ski racing banners on my basement wall, and I never knew what they were. And now it's funny because I'm bringing them home from like the Beijing Olympics and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just wild. But yeah, so good. So this this brother of mine, my identical twin brother, like a clone of me, looks just like me. I'm about to bleach my hair this season, I think, to fully spend it. But
Okay.
so identical twin brothers, they don't know they're having twins till late minute. They had to change the name for the baby they thought they were having. They're like, great, my parents. They're like, great, what are we gonna name twins? And they thought it would be funny, ha ha ha. We'll name one Patrick and one Sven because we're Swedish and Irish, so they could like tell us apart basically, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever the brain chemicals are happening before you have twin babies you didn't expect is
So
going
how many
through.
times did you still, how many times did your brother get called Pat and you Sven on a daily basis then though? Were they
Oh
still
my
able to
God. Our
differentiate?
parents would do it until we were like probably 18. I think even our parents would mess it up. Yeah. It was
Until
so,
you dressed it with different personalities or something,
yeah. He went,
or
he
someone got
went
in
to
a
a
fight and had
different
a black eye
school.
and you,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, tons of things. Yeah. We were throwing everything at the wall. Nobody could tell us apart. Just two black labs, running around like whatever. But yeah. So he drops out of college before I even lost my leg. Became a ski bum. I remember we went to a college week one time where you get a ski pass for a week, and there's like a bunch of parties at the bars around the resort. And he was like, yeah, and he just basically stayed there for the next 3 years, and worked his way up from parking cars to ski patrol. And that's how he found the hookup of, if you volunteered with the disabled ski program, you'd get a free day pass. So that's how my father got skiing again. Blah blah blah. It was so cool, dude. It was just perfect. It was meant to be. Then
And this is
3
all this is all Massachusetts or
Vermont,
in
Vermont.
Vermont,
Yeah. New England. You can just call us New England boys, what it is.
somewhere in the
Call it as you see
Northeast.
it. Yeah. Crazy Northeasterners, dude. And yeah, my dad from New Hampshire, I'm from Connecticut. We started skiing in Vermont. And yeah, get get started in it. And yeah, and then me and Sven were traveling the world doing seasons back to back. We met somebody in Australia and started traveling the world doing seasons skiing a lot, and I was going to be the best skier in the world.
But before we keep going with that, so when you first, after your accident where you lost your leg, were there other things that, it sounds like you had cultivated a direction of I want to do something pro, like professional in sports, right? And I
Right.
think you've told me about football and other stuff. Like, what did that initially look like? And I don't want to, you go as deep as you want. You can keep it shallow if you, depending on how you feel around this. But I would like to unpack, like, I had a mentor once tell me that, like, which resonates strongly with me, that like like dreams die when we stop believing there's a viable option forward, right? When we stop seeing another path to make progress. It doesn't have to be the right one, but when we just kind of give up saying I just don't want to go entertain any more paths, dreams die. And it sounds like you found a way to keep your dreams alive, even if that morphed into something different. Um, so maybe in the initial couple of months or years, I'm not entirely sure, right? Whether in those 2, 3 years when until you really started skiing, and you had your dad help, teach you, to do it one leg, and you cultivated that new passion. What did that look like in that in between?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's what it is, right? Is like I think ultimately it was almost in there's just in the hindsight when I in the accident too, my heart stopped like multiple times. Like I bled out, coded out. So I think, you know, I gotta think something clicked in my brain or something in the universe, or maybe, I'm here for this bigger purpose, whatever, whatever you want to call it. And I think that might have some like I felt like I was always this person, but now I have that motivation to be that person. Like I am acting like the guy that I tell chicks at a bar that I am, like I'm actually doing those things and yeah, and failing and really, but yeah, just like that's kind of is like what is that thing that actually made me start doing that stuff, like
So
was
what I'm hearing is it sounds like finding a way is a way, and that's a phrase that I like to use, but you probably tried some things, right? And you were just like, I'm just not gonna give up. Is that kind of the mentality you had? I got to make something work. I'm still here on this planet, and I'm gonna live it up. I'm still here.
right. And a big thing was probably the biggest thing. Yeah, I was just thinking this and it was like the same, it was like the year before the Paralympics had equaled to the Olympics in America. So now I was like, oh, I'm gonna be Olympian. Like I mean, I was like, oh, they're gonna let me go against a bunch of disabled people. I'm gonna be the best. And it
Hmm.
took, it was way harder than I thought, but yeah, it was just, yeah, it was like that's what made me realize I really have to pick one sport and really go for it and not waste 10 years, but embarrass myself for 10 years before I'm, good at this.
Yeah, but you get that out of the way as opposed to getting to the top really fast and then, not to say you still can't feel like an imposter, but like you have failed and failed and failed, so you don't mind continuing to fail even once you're where you want to be, and you still know there's still a lot of progress to be made. Okay, but so you and your brother, roughly what time period are we talking about? We're starting to go around the globe and I don't know, ski bum it, like
Yeah.
down under, like
Yeah, 20
walk us
twenty
walk.
fifteen,
Okay.
2015 we started. 2016 we went to New Zealand. Yeah, and that's when I found out about the NSCD, the National Sports Center for the Disabled in Winter Park, Colorado. So that's when I had some family there. So they invited me there and I stayed at their place until I bought Vanessa. And
Mhm.
yeah, and my brother got this amazing opportunity at Mount Cook to be a glacier guide, driving a little guide boat around looking at icebergs at the bottom of the Tasman Glacier. And yeah, so that was the first time we split up. That was 2017. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, from 2015 to then, till 2019, really, I was, yeah, going back and forth doing two winters in 1 year.
So what did that do for your skiing? Like, were you know, I've heard some things as far as like what the work you were doing down there, but like, is it pretty much just like find a way to live, work, ski, eat, sleep, more or less repeat? And
Yeah, honestly, like nobody could ever keep up with me, so nobody's ever known like the greatness of me actually skiing. But yeah, I was doing 300 days a year for 6 years, and that, and I got a coach. So when I got with NSCD, now I got a coach
Mhm.
making me have more accountability and fail more, and yeah, and oh yeah, so that made me really good and just doing
Mhm.
that forever, staying healthy. Yeah. And now, got the medical support. Oh my gosh, dude. We're gonna get a gold medal in March. Like that's happening, dude. It's unreal.
That's what they recently posted 200 days or something, so we're less than
Yeah.
200 days out from that
Hmm.
for you.
Yeah. Speed camp coming up in Chile. I'm feeling, oh, dude, I got not a roller blade, but a roller skate now. and I thought it would be different and maybe more like a ski. And it's definitely, I don't know if it's more like a ski than an inline blade, but there's something there where it's like, whoa, this new difficult thing, like I was doing those uneven rows today. Oh my
It's just
God.
it's just enough of a little bit of variability that keeps you having to problem solve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like,
So
dude, it's so cool I have something to be hungry about. Even just thinking of you, thinking of me doing these workouts, like makes me like hungry for steak and want to like look in the, like look in the, yeah.
that's great. I would not have guessed that, but I'm glad I motivate you.
Sorry, you said I could go off down rabbit holes. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, I do think though that's like one thing I really appreciated about and getting to know you is like you are always doing something. We now know that, officially Colorado, though they haven't recognized it, Pikes Peak is Pat's Peak, since you conquered it. But you are biking, you are rollerblading and or roller skating, you're
Mhm.
constantly being active. You have a very, even prior to skiing, it sounds like a really just broad athletic base, and there's no question around your athleticism. I think that certainly helps you solve problems and be very coachable and learn and adapt skills, learn new skills. Um, do you do that like knowingly, or you just like, I just love to move, I just love to be active? Because we've had conversations on the road as like, it is great to be lean, it's great to be like fit and healthy, what that affords you as far as just life goes. I don't know if you can speak to that around your mindset around those things, but yeah, you don't always see that, particularly with adaptive populations. So
Oh yeah, I mean, health is wealth in so many more ways than just financial assets, It's like it makes you live longer. So, dude, I did the incline the other day. It was like I was Tom Cruise coming on the way down. Three people asked me for pictures. Like, if I want to, I've been given this contribution where I can spread a lot of love, like just from being uniquely different, but also like different with this thing that just pulls at your heartstrings, right? When people see me, they're like, "Oh my god, I thank God I'm not him." It's like yeah, I want to know what is his story. I want to know who he is. What does he put in his coffee? Like, so it's this beautiful thing, and yeah, I went and did the incline the other day, and I'm just I'm talking to all these people, and yeah, it's a pretty special thing. So to even just yeah, be able to work towards this thing, like yeah, and I get that hunger where I'm like, yeah, motivated and like I am like trying to be better and like it's just so beautiful and that leads to like I was saying, health is wealth. Yeah, that's gonna lead to, the next thing, whether, whatever it may be in my life, I want it to kind of be just be this good person of good character and maybe just so you can I want to give back basically my measure of success is being able to give back, so it would be cool to give back to those who helped me most. And but yeah, so but that takes a lot of hard work and I like hard work, and yeah, it's eerie how good it's all going, so
you, I can't remember the story of, this whatever pro basketball player once upon a time. We'll just say it's Kobe, or someone like him. It was a documentary I was watching, and it was something like he always made the time to, sign autographs and connect with the community, no matter, how busy he was, blah, 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 blah. And I think there's a certain level of respect. And, we started this conversation off of talking around like just again, I'm boiling it down to charisma. We know it's much more than that. But your ability to connect with people and how much in that connection and your presence, awareness, and just genuine desire to get something often gets you that with connection. But that hearing you echo later on too, that your desire to like live a full life of experience and that entails giving back, I think is almost what completes that circle of karma a little bit. It's like you're not just out there taking, it's entirely matched, if not more, with what you give back to the world. And to me, that's quite beautiful. Now, I might be impressing that or projecting that onto you just from my observation, but that's kind of what I'm hearing.
yeah, no, that's kind of my you know right, right. It's funny when we say, everybody uses that word purpose, like this thing that you just get one day, but it's like it's like a payment. It's like when you clock in, and you start getting that payment, that's that purpose we're all really looking for is they'll receive my love and they'll give me love. And
Mm.
I like to believe what is making this world turn is all our hearts are connected and like enough good people do good stuff and we're kind of it's turning and everybody's decently happy and there's no nuclear bombs going off or nothing and maybe we're close and we're flirting with that sometimes but like yeah as long as it's all good people it's yeah it's like are you taking that hard wrong or that easy wrong or that hard right a lot of times I think is where that really boils down to our heart's decision and it's I think our heart sometimes plays tricks on us because it doesn't want to get broken. It doesn't want that dream of being a dinosaur or a rock star or the singer or the ballet performer. Like when we stop going for that dream, it's heartbreaking, and our heart doesn't want to get broken. So it's like no, no, stay in bed. Like it's so warm in these Egyptian sheets you have. Don't get up and go for that run. And yeah, that's that hard right answer is kind of not listening to your heart, or whatever you want to say it is, your mind or your heart,
Yeah.
or your knee that's screaming at you to get off it, going up the palm lift, whatever it may be. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, you got to make that hard right, not the easy wrong. And sometimes that hard right is low hanging fruit, like being nice and, being excited to meet the school children. We got to do that in
Yeah.
Chile. It was so cool, dude. And
Yeah.
it was
What was
fun.
that like? Are you speaking Spanish down there?
Oh, sí, sí, sí. Yeah, muy bien. Me amo Grande Fuego. They all knew. They all knew me. It was really cool, dude. I wore a full cat suit, superhero helmet, pit vipers. It was so cool,
Nice.
dude. It was cool because it was a holiday and they like had like their homecoming dance for like the fourth grade. And we were just like the biggest hit. All the lights were off in the auditorium, windows were blocked, techno music. We are just
Oh,
like, what's up?
I thought you were gonna say like as you guys came in, like it's an arena entrance, they like chime the lights onto you
And
on the
here
dance
is
floor or something.
Grande Fuego. I come in
Da,
like
da,
a
da, da, da.
lucha librador, slide into the ring.
And you do like the little arm thing, like or something. I don't know. How'd you see me? I saw you from the town right over there,
See, see,
or
see.
whatever the movie quote is. I mean, just going tying this back to purpose and kind of where we left off a little bit with New Zealand. So New Zealand, really a big part of your introduction to the ski community and development process, getting you connected with the NSCD. Where then did you make a connection? And it sounds like you've been wanting to go back there for some time, but this summer you got back down there. What'd you do? Why was that such a big deal?
Right, yeah. It was like I mean, a huge deal just from the standpoint that it was kind of the first vacation I planned probably in my life. And
Are you allowed to take vacation, Pat?
I mean they wagged a finger at me, I'm
I'm
not gonna lie. They were like
I'm teasing.
They, I'm not. They had a meeting and were just like, "Hey, please don't die, don't get hurt," basically. And maybe they talked to somebody in New Zealand, for all I know, because they did not let me do any bungee jump at AJ Hackett, like the most touristy bungee jump in the middle of the most bungee jumped place in the world, and they wouldn't let me do anything. They because I didn't have enough. My limb deficiency was too much for
Mm.
them. They wouldn't put me. They wouldn't let me bungee jump. It was unreal. It was on my birthday too. It was devastating, but yeah. I worked 4 years in New Zealand. I have so many what they call mates. What we would call
Mhm.
it's New Zealand for friend, and yeah, it was so beautiful to see, people I've starved with when, I can not only feed myself now, but I could feed them. and it was like the most surreal thing I've been through so far. And yeah, it was epic. Yeah, I went right back to the place. I live and worked for 4 years, and all these people were still there. It was so beautiful, just reconnecting with my old bosses and best friends, and they're one of the same. Your best friends are usually people you work with, or you know.
Isn't that crazy? Like, so I grew up 10 years living overseas during my developmental years. And so like this past season, Pat, when we spent some time in Switzerland in the minivan I'm driving as we're going through like Zurich and parts of Switzerland, I'm pointing out to the people in my van, I think like Kirk was in there, Zach Williams, maybe Jesse Saylor. And I'm like, I literally went to school right over there. Like this is literally where my house was down that street. I used to go to that park all the time. I'm like 5 6 years old at the time until I'm like 7 or 8, and like here I am almost 20 years later, like just driving by this, and I can still find, and like the world looks so different. But to your point, it's like the same people who lived there 20 years ago or just 20 years older probably doing the same thing, the same routines. It's like when we fly in and out of Munich, it's like the same people are in the hotel we always go to. They're going about their daily routines, and it's kind of this beautiful like life goes on, and it's cool to catch up with people then when you know them. It's just, yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, so beautiful, dude. Especially, when those people you care about grow, not in a bad way, but in a good way, because you see both. And it's just like, it's so good to just see people that you love thriving. That is like, that is it. That's like almost, yeah, you get to see lift as you climb, and you get to see all the gratification from it. And, it's like, sometimes I wonder, because I'm around people on vacation so much. I'm like, man, they just go on vacation and they're just all mad. It's like you gotta always have intention, even when you're on vacation. It's like, you don't. Sometimes you want those experiences that you're gonna create a memory that lasts until your deathbed. They'll never, remember the vacation that everything went to plan. It's usually the one where dad got his bike stolen or something, and everything went
Yeah, it's like some of the
haywire.
bad stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, like, because you shared stories. I don't know if it was exactly when you went down to New Zealand, but like this past year when we were in Courchevel, like, our van gets stuck because the snow tire chains, right, get all wrapped up funky. And you come out, rip your shirt off because it's a fresh shirt, and obviously we don't want to get it wrecked or wet.
Right, baby. You
And
gotta
a,
look
and a
good.
little and a little bit of skin helps the situation, I'm sure. But you fix the chains around the tire, right? Get that set, and you're sharing, like you used to do this all the time in New Zealand. I think a lot of people, to their own experience, sometimes forget about, hey, all the crap you go through, all the mud you trudge through with the hopes of getting to where you want to go. And I think you seem like someone that's always kind of grounded of like, I probably don't always have the most money. I often have things that are pretty crappy happening, and I'm constantly having to figure these problems out. But you found a way to continue to make opportunities for yourself while new problems constantly, usually, complex problems, you're constantly having to deal with and handle. Um, and the point of solving those problems is basically to get to where you want to go, right? Like the point of probably, if to use the example of putting chains on people, snow chains on people's tires in New Zealand is so that you can be down there and live and ski. Like you're not probably down there to put chains on tires, even if it's for a temporary period, and it works out that way because life, whatever happens. But it's kind of like the goal of if you're homeless isn't to like then go get a mattress so that your homeless situation is better. The goal is to no longer be homeless altogether. That's the analogy I would use, right? The point is to get back up on your foot and frickin' ski or whatever it is. And I think you excel at that no matter how many punches are thrown constantly at you. So yeah, continue to walk us through this summer's trip to New Zealand. Um,
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, but yeah, because oh, I got to get so intimate with that road again. It's funny because the job is called roads crew. That's the department name. That's just what they call. a car parker basically, like,
Mhm.
and you kind of have to keep this one lane of traffic on this super sketchy 18-kilometer long switchback dirt paved road. And it's yeah, so it's just really cool. I got to choose to go on that road, not just like go there for work and have to put chains on all day in a frozen swamp. But
Mhm.
it was really cool. I got to go by all those little pull-ins where the chain bays are, and all these corners I used to know to have dialogue for the radios. And I got to get super intimate with this road. I rode my bike up it, and I'd always wanted to do that too. I downhilled it quite a bit. There was this one endurance race that involved that, and I
Mhm.
skied down from the top and then biked down the road. And then there's downhill trails near the bottom that are actually like jumps and stuff like that. It was really exciting, but
Gnarly.
yeah, but I'd never biked up it, and I always wanted to, because there was a endurance race that used to bike up it as well. And I worked it when I was there. I never got to do it because I was working. That's always the funny thing about being a ski bum is you think you're gonna be this professional snowboarder and get an Audi and a house in Malibu, but the second year in, you're like, wait, when do I get to ride? And you're like, oh, you have to run the resort. Sorry, buddy. Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, and that was, that's a big motivator for me was I kind of had this niche where it's like, oh man, if I just keep being special on my days off and getting better, like I could actually be a pro with the Malibu, all that. I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can make it happen. But yeah, it was during chain fitting too is the funny thing that I'll never forget. This guy got out of a Defender Land Rover. The thing looked like it could climb a staircase, and he didn't know how to do the chains. And me and my brother were doing chains, and it's $20. We'll do it for you. $50. We'll show you how to do it so you don't kill your family. And we'd just say that, and these guys would kind of gasp and be like, "Oh, yeah, all right, maybe $50." And and please don't tell anybody we tried to get tips out of people. I don't think it's allowed, but maybe one time this happened. But yeah, and this guy was talking about how he was like, should they just not go skiing today? And because they were going heli skiing the next day, and I was just, me and my brother were talking like, like one day, like when are we gonna heli ski? Like, why are we doing, And
Yeah.
it was kind of like that was the thing is like one day we're gonna maybe not that guy will befriend, but we will, we're seeing because there's a lot of helicopters. The airport's right by this mountain, really cool setup, this whole canyon. And we're like, man, we're gonna get a heli ski one day. And of course I was thinking, I'll probably get paid and be jumping out of it doing my double backflip or whatever. But yeah, and this was the year, since COVID, they stopped the visas. I really focused on ski racing, and 7 years, and I got to plan this vacation and go back and got the heli ski trip that I dreamed about in the mud and the blood and the beer. And and it was like, wow, that's it. It's just all this time we're wasting is actually for a reason. It's like if you can find the right thing to kind of struggle over, and really just whatever you do, like take your job serious, whatever your job is. You just have to take it super serious, do the best you can, be nice to everybody around you, and then like your wildest dream, that dream, yeah, from whether the mattress, you want the homeless mattress under the bridge, or you want, the van or the girl or, all this stuff. Like if you focus on yourself and you pick that right struggle and really focus on your job, and then don't take, be not serious outside of work, and, get your kind of get your mind right, do whatever you need to do, whether that's be alone in your off time or work and do a sport or whatever that passion you have is. But yeah, it's like, you just got to find that struggle sometimes. And sometimes, yeah, it's some, crappy chain fitting job with your brother because we went over there thinking we had good jobs and neither of us got hired, so we had to beg our way even to getting that job. And it was so good, dude. But
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, that's cool. And I think, you know, we often see people's highlight reels nowadays, right, with social media and everything. And like, certainly you've cultivated quite a good presence with like your posting, whether it's reels or photos or stories and everything. Um, you've also shared a lot of stories. And maybe I'm not following close enough. Usually there's stories that you share with me verbally as to like the times you fall on your face because they are really funny and there's some good learnings. And so you still do fall on your face, like you're still failing. Not everything is just this like beautiful trajectory of like wins, 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 right? But you also deliver a lot. And delivering can look, I guess, let me clarify this. Like to deliver it, the way I'm using it is like when push comes to shove, you show up and rise to the occasion more times than not. Not to say you don't show up, you rise to the occasion and still fall on your face, but you fell on your face because you were rising to the occasion and gave it your best, right? And like some examples, like you were, this would be a whole different topic, but your time in France with Sawyer. I mean, like you had some phenomenal ski days, it sounds like, but also made some pretty amateur mistakes wherein like pit vipers on sunny days and I don't know, going head first into the POW, it sounds like. But all this, I guess where I'm going is when you're flying in, you finally get this heli ski opportunity and you're flying in, you're seeing this sea of white blanket mountains, and you're like, I think you had a post or something like, we are flying in right over the glaciers we're gonna go ski on and like be on for the next extended period of time. I imagine there's a lot of like, holy crap, this is live time happening. There's probably some anxiety around there, excitement, but then probably what happens next once you're actually there on the ground because you're incredibly present and you deliver. What's that look like in your head, Pat? Because that to me is also like a truly high performer to like keep everything bottled together. So you could, I don't know if you could walk us through, yeah, that fly over and do actually time on the glacier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was eerie. I had a bunch of canceled flights, and the flight ended up being like 2 days longer, literally. And luckily, I had a buddy in Denver I could stay with and shuttle me around. Um, because it was Saturday, really, too, so that helped that they weren't doing anything. But yeah, I'm just hanging out, and like it ended up being travel from like Thursday to Monday, and it was
Mm.
just like kind of awful travel, but like the longest leg of the flight was 14 hours, and I got first class for it, which involves getting horizontal on a flight, dude. It was the first ever good sleep I've had on a flight in my life. And so that was kind of epic. It was, yeah, it's like wins and loses just as you're going. It was like
Yeah.
terrible. Same clothes that whole time. That was the only thing. It was just like, damn, like, and
But
but
doesn't
yeah.
that give you like an appreciation of perspective? Like, because I've done some expeditions too where you're like, okay, like I'm not used to being in the same clothes for 2 weeks on end, but you're like, oh, but it's also kind of okay if like we all kind of smell, so we don't smell. Like it's just this weird like social norm then that you start to realize like, oh, we've just constructed that we're supposed to change every so often, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway, sorry, I
it's like
digress.
it's like your buddy's car when you get into it and you're like, "Oh my God, like you don't smell that, dude?" And he's just used to it. Yeah, it's like if we
Yeah.
all get used to it, then it's not an issue. Yeah, it's 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and then the day I fly out there, it was the best weather I've ever had on the flight from Auckland to Queenstown, which is like a 3 hour, probably like 2 hour flight. But beautiful weather. I got to see this famous mountain. It looks just like a woman's breast, especially when it has snow just on the top of it, which it did, which is really rare that they even get snow there. And
Hmm.
it felt like the Swedish ski gods were opening up the weather
Everything's
for me.
aligning.
I mean, yeah, they got dumped on
Yeah.
too. They usually don't even have all their trails open that early. But not only
Hmm.
did they have their trails, they had the whole park was open with the big jumps and everything. It was really cool.
Oh.
But yeah, when I flew out there, I flew right over Cook, and it was so nice. The pilot came over the intercom and was talking all about it, and it was just so cool because that's never happened. I'd flown there 7 times, and that's never happened. And I got to see the exact glacier I'm about to ski, and even at the time, I wasn't even positive about the heli ski. It was still kind of this questioning
Yeah.
thing: who's going to come? What day is it going to be? We're looking at weather and Oh, it was unreal. And then yeah, I get there and see all my best mates and my really good friend Aaron, who I went to Beijing with, and we've been on this similar path of becoming the greatest men ever, and the chase for eternal speed. And it was just really cool to see him. And he picks me up, brings me right to his place. All the logistics were dialed, and yeah, it just felt like I was back home. And it was beautiful. And then, I get the word that this is going to be the dates. Some weather came in, pushed the heli ski back a little bit, and it all started working out. I had some sponsors come through at that time too, and I mean, any ski bum knows when that happens. That's it, right? That's where rubber hits the road. Are you going to waste that money, or are you going to profit from those resources, And that's, do you buy the house in Malibu in the Audi, or do you try to make a business, like, so it was just so beautiful. Just getting to try these things, that be creative, do this other thing and learn something I have know nothing about, be a fool, and yeah, and just be happy. I was really, really felt like I was rich in spirit when I was out there.
So you finally get out there. It's what, a small cohort of you and some homies. What are you learning? Yeah, what is new to Pat at this point?
It was a bunch of buddies, James, Billy, and Aaron, all my homies from NSCD. They're all New Zealanders from New Zealand, and yeah, they're all in wheelchairs. They are sit skiers. They're just all rippers and really cool people too. Like yeah, so awesome. And then I met their roommates, and they were just a bunch of beautiful souls in this house. It was like seven of us. There was two people that were kind of director filmers. We kind of had some people for logistics and labor, and then we had me and basically two other, actors, athletes, whatever you want to call it. Tom Cruise, Quentin Tarantino, getting after it.
You do your own stunts.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I got enough for Tom Cruise too. Sorry, sorry.
Throwing
Dad
jabs.
jokes. You laugh. Yeah, you laugh at your own jokes. That's what it's about. But yeah, so
For
it
those
was
that are
so
unfamiliar,
beautiful. I got to get with this other bloke, Jimmy, who I just did the Grand Canyon with, and I let him borrow my van for a month, and he hooked it up. He's the helicopter heli ski guy, and we finally cracked it. We told that guy that we were doing chains for all those years ago. We totally told him.
nice. For those that unfamiliar though, like just with heli skiing and maybe this opportunity, is it like a survivor type thing where heli ski just drops you off in the middle of spanking nowhere and you're working your way back to a resort? Walk us through the experience because you did describe who you were with, who was there, where sponsorship came in as well as like some of the logistics side. But how long were you out there? What was it that you were actually doing? Were people getting photos of you? Were you just like ripping and shredding everything and we can't talk about that? Um,
It
let the
was a
magic
bit for the soul.
be
It was
where it
like a
happened.
bit for the soul. Oh, that's so
Nice.
good. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of went through it too. I'd never heli skied before, so I'm like, oh right, this stuff is serious. Like nobody there hadn't been a group who had skied this glacier all season, and this was the beginning of their winter, so it was like the end of glacier ski season. Like this is when it gets a little too much snow and it's extremely dangerous, and you don't ski it. So that was like just the end of that season. So it's kind of the spring, which is a good season to do it. But yeah, nobody had skied it that year even, and like we were kind of the first. Actually, my buddy had solo skied it, but that was it. Like there'd been no groups out there. So, and yeah, we were hoping I'd have a couple pretty experienced buddies of mine, but since the weather had pushed it back a little bit, it was just going to be me, an intern, and Sherpa. So it was getting all the right equipment, and luckily I had my best friend, Small Planet Sports in Queenstown, New Zealand, like totally just like hooked me up, and they were like my unofficial sponsor way back in the day, and now I love them so much, and I'll do anything for them, and the feeling is mutual. And yeah, and like, got all the stuff we needed, all this ropes and learning about all this stuff so we don't fall in a crevasse and die, because
Yeah,
that's the thing. My coaches weren't wrong. They knew I was going to go to New Zealand and do some wild stuff. Like they know me pretty intimately, and I love, we're family, right? So
yeah,
that, and that's why I was, taking it serious. And yeah, got all the did all the, all the ropes and all the courses and everything, got all the found out the weather. And yeah, but basically we'd be flown up in a plane that lands on the snow with skis, very fast ski plane, and then it would drop us off at the nicest hut at Mount Cook, the Kelman hut. We'd hike up there that day and do laps on the head wall. They have this really cool, big, huge, probably 600 foot field of snow that's tilted up, probably 35 degrees or something. And yeah, cruisy, but like fun. And we did 4 laps there. We stayed the night in that hut. And then the next day we skied all that. And that's the top of the glacier, basically. And then the next day we ski the 10 kilometers to Tasman Lake at the bottom of the Tasman Glacier. And
wow,
then we camp there, and then we get helicoptered out.
sick.
Yeah, 3 days, 2 nights, and it was better than I could have dreamed, dude. They got 60 centimeters, which is unheard of in New Zealand, kind of, to get fresh powder at all, but let alone be the only ones on, it was almost like knee deep, basically. But
Yeah,
it was unreal. And I had this huge, awesome Black Crow powder ski, and I had a head ski too, obviously. And but yeah, it was just, the best day of my life. And we had a really good meal that night too. They have kumra, this really
what's
sweet
that?
potato. It's their sweet potato. It's like golden. It's like a white
Tumora?
golden kumra. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
kumra.
Kumra.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And had that with steak that night in the Kelman hut. And it was beautiful weather, just bluebird, beautiful sunrise, sunsets. It was so good. Skied down 10Ks. And our Sherpa had his friends were at the bottom and they were ice climbing. Intern went ice climbing. It was so good. Aurelian, one of the other guys. We had me, Aurelian, and Jimmy, and he
Mhm.
was the Sherpa. And yeah, I love them, and they're the best mountain people ever. But yeah, it was so cool. And then flew out from there, and just seeing Mount Cook and all these places. And really, like, it was the same company that my brother had flown in helicopters with ages ago. And he would send me these videos where he's, kind of like being Beverly Hills, like saying like, oh yeah, oh, no big deal. Like this was my ride. Just drop me off here. And I just, I remember watching those and seeing like this glacier that I'm now camping on, and being right by this helipad that they were landing the same company's helicopter on. And it was it was so good, man. It was like, sometimes you hear these stories that you've never heard about somebody, and you're like, you see this other side of them. And it was almost like that feeling. Like, it was like, oh, this is where he was doing this. Like, all right, all right, all right, that makes sense. And it was
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Is there something from that experience altogether, or even just this summer almost, we'll call it, I don't know, like this, I don't know, if reconcile or just like, yeah, this circle back to New Zealand, this experience, something that you learned or feel like is really just altogether leveled you up as a human going into a games year? And I'm not trying to draw like a one-to-one comparison. It can simply just be like, dude, my confidence or just like the sense of fulfillment. But what is a takeaway from all of it? You're just like, this has made me that much happier of a human, or like appreciative of the life I live.
right. No, though, that's why I say, like, it's eerie how good everything's going, because it's just starting to make it feels like I'm just in the right place, doing exactly the right stuff, and the things keep happening that I'm not like looking for it, but I like would love it, and it's happening. It's like, oh right, like
Hmm.
all this, like yeah, kind of like when you have these dreams that take 7 years to do, when they happen, it's like it's way better than you actually dreamed it 7 years ago. Like it's like, oh man, this is I couldn't have written a movie script of what how this happened and like how this worked out, or and it's like it's just like, yeah, it's so good. So going into that, yeah, that's kind of why I'm so confident with the games. I'm just like, well, every other dream keeps happening. Like, why not this one? I just keep dreaming
Hmm.
wilder stuff. And yeah, and it always happens every time. I never fallen. I don't know what you're talking about with Glenn Blake and the sunglasses. I don't know.
I We can't illustrate you as too perfect of a person, so I got to make something up where there's some, natural human error in there, Pat. That way,
Fair
otherwise this wouldn't be relatable.
fair enough. Fair enough.
I
But,
only fall, and you.
yeah, sometimes I think that it's like, am I so unrelatable that it's like people look at me like I'm just an alien. Like their first glance is like, oh, right, that's what the aliens look like. Okay, got it.
You know, I'd rather that though, than someone say you're just like me. Um, because to me that's like you're different and I at least see that. And I feel like I lean very heavy into individuality and being your own person, and you certainly without doubt live that. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Hulk, the man
Austria.
from Graz, Austria.
Uh,
He is saying this, that, what's the phrase? Like, when people said we don't want to look like you, he's like, great, you never will. It's kind of like what I am doing is unattainable because you are your own person and I am me. And what I deem beautiful or fulfilling is up to me to decide. And that you can kind of then live independently of others' projected judgment. Like, not to say you don't hear it or it doesn't hurt you at times. It certainly can, and I don't think that's good when people intentionally try to hurt people with words or actions or things like that. But yeah, I'm saying stuff you probably already know because you just basically embody and live it. um, but yeah, with all this, if people do want to continue, because there's so much more to you as a person, and I don't think like an hour of a podcast does anything justice. It only just merely scratches the surface. People really need to get to know you by connecting with you in person. But if they can't and they want to follow along, where can people find you? You obviously have some merch, spend it, and I don't know. Does Vanessa have an Instagram van life profile yet? When's that coming out?
it's very shortly, very shortly.
Okay.
That'll be coming up soon.
But feel free to, and if you don't want to say it live, where can people connect with you? We can certainly add it to the show notes as well.
Yeah, Patrick Halgren, Halgren, as in Nancy. My Instagram is PowerCasa32. I think I'm on YouTube and everything. I think is Power Casa 32 or Patrick Halgren on YouTube, but I got a website too, all that good stuff there. I think I got to fix the link, but I'm super good with that stuff, so I'm sure
If
that'll
people wanted to get there, they could probably just this link in bio and Instagram or something for you.
or something, preferably, yes.
Okay. Well, we'll link it all below in the description, so the nuance there will be clear for the listeners. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking some time this afternoon, Pat, to connect. This was awesome.
The pleasure was all mine. Yeah.